Hello and welcome to a very special midweek edition of Soulivity Live, everyone. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I am so glad you joined us because, of course, we have a fantastic show for you in store. For this special show, we are having an intimate conversation with the publisher and the creative director for Beyond Words Publishing, Richard and Michelle Cohn. You see, earlier this summer, we kicked off an exciting new collaboration with Beyond Words Publishing, and it has been no less than amazing. So we wanted to bring them on a special day to learn more about them and get some insights into what Beyond Words has in store in the future for some inspiration. Now, remember, we're going to take your questions live. So post your comments or questions to any of our live chats, and we'll get to some answers for you during the show. So let's get it started, okay? Now, while my guests really don't need an introduction, let's find out a little bit more about them. Richard and Michelle Cohn have touched the lives of many people around the world with passion, purpose, and a commitment to living their best life serving humanity. Founding Beyond Words Publishing in 1983, Richard Cohn serves as the publisher and president. Having worked with many first-time authors and projects like The Secret and Hidden Messages in the Water, Richard has established a reputation for producing inspiring, high-quality books that can help make a difference in the lives of millions of readers. He has helped Beyond Words expand as an information and media company, providing DVD, audio, online live streaming, and product distribution. Richard is a treasure hunter, whether looking for the next best-selling book or movie, or finding a gem at estate sale. He enjoys an active lifestyle with his wife Michelle and spending time with his family and 9 grandchildren. He has traveled and lived abroad and is fluent in 4 languages. He is immensely proud of the company that Beyond Words has become and the recent co-publishing agreement with Altera Books, a division of Simon & Schuster, giving the company strong domestic and international distribution as well as strong foreign rights sales. Michelle Astianti Cohn began her journey at Beyond Words in 2005. Starting out as a part-time sales associate, she quickly rose to the ranks and became marketing director in 2006. Her first big marketing success was The Secret book, published by Beyond Words and Altera. Michelle now oversees adult acquisitions and is constantly looking for material that will help shift the consciousness of the planet. As creative director, she also makes sure that daily life at Beyond Words is fun, meaningful, and filled with purpose. Michelle works daily with her husband, Richard, with authors and filmmakers, and has co-produced several films. She is especially dedicated to the reach and touch billions of lives with Beyond Words inspirational spiritual content. Fabulous couple, right? Oh man, I've been looking forward to doing this interview with Richard and Michelle. We've been talking off stage a little bit. No, I'm not going to tell you what we talked about. You have to wait for the. But it is my pleasure to welcome Richard and Michelle Cohn to Soulivity Live. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi there. How are you today?
Oh, I am doing great. I am doing great. Remember, everybody, listen, we want your questions. We want your comments. Just post them right here to the live feed, and we're going to get to them during the show over the next hour. Guys, I want to first say to you guys, congratulations. 37 years of Beyond
Amazing.
Words. 7.
It's amazing.
Is it that long, really?
Yeah.
I know we always kind of go, how many years is it? Because they go really fast.
And it's been quite a journey for both of you. We were talking offline about, the trials and tribulations of any business. I look at this more than a business for the both of you. Like Soulivity is for me, this is just not something that you do. It's in part who you are. Am I correct about that?
Yep.
And so the journey was just not professional, it was also personal, right? Because there's a lot of things that I see as I did my homework around both of you that point to the very fact that this was very personal and that this was transformational in your lives. And there's certain key milestones that I kind of saw over a period that uh, that you had to make it through. And it's like the old adage of, the miserable successes and the grand failures, that kind of thing. So, Richard, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
And as with anything, as I've learned from my father and my father's father around context, right? You put everything in context so everybody's okay. Okay, we all agree where we are, and now you fill in the blanks. It's 1983, and it's before Beyond Words, before you started this company with your other business partners at the time.
Yes.
Can you give us a sense of what was going on in your own life at that point, that Beyond Words was kind of born out of?
At the time, in 1983, in January of 1983, I had an opportunity to sit down with a medium, someone that brings information in from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And what she told me was, you are going to have the greatest publishing company in the history of mankind for spiritual books, and you're going to make lots of money. Does that please you? And publishing was not something that ever had occurred to me. And I said back to her, I have food on my table and a roof over my head. I'm enjoying life, but to do something just to make money
Mm-hmm.
is not something I would do.
Right.
And
Right.
she said, that's a very precise teaching, because when you do things to make money, when money is your sole motivator, you will attract money, but it'll go out away from you as fast as you get it. When you do things for other reasons, for a higher purpose, then you become a magnet and the money can't stay away. And so at that time, a few months later, I forgot about what was told to me. And I was living, as I said, in Hawaii, and I was manufacturing. I had a natural vitamin company, and I had I had a T-shirt company, and I was doing things that were fun, and I didn't make any money, but I just continued doing them. And then in August of 1983, I got a phone call, and it was a National Geographic photographer who was taking a morning meditative walk in the hills above Honolulu. And he said to me on the phone, I heard a voice on the street, and the voice said, call Richard Cohn and ask how he can help you publish your book. And I thought to myself, I didn't know what to say. I thought,
like, what the heck are you talking about, man?
Exactly. And,
I'm selling T-shirts, and
But I thought maybe I should pay attention a little bit. If God was sending a message, I didn't want to be the person that later in my afterlife, God says, well, I tried to give you this great opportunity and you didn't even do anything. So I said to the photographer, whom I didn't know, but he found my name through his sister,
mm-hmm.
who knew the woman that I was dating at that time. And so that's how he found me. And so I invited him over, and he showed me his photos of the island of Molokai. He had taken 20 years of photographs, magnificent work.
Wow.
But I didn't know what to do with it. And so I said to him, I have some experience in business, but if you can find a real publisher, I'd be happy to talk with him or her, and together maybe we can do something. And so he came back 2 weeks later with a real publisher. And the windup was that we formed a partnership to do his book, as well as another book that the publisher brought to us.
And that was Bob Goodman.
And that man was named Bob Goodman. He was also a photographer, and he had worked with Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and,
I've seen it. Well, us that remember,
yeah. And he
Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau.
And he did a book called The Australians. He did a book called The Hawaiians. He had done a lot of projects, and so Bob brought a layer of expertise to the partnership. I helped to raise the funding, the money to do the projects, and the first book that we published was called Within a Rainbowed Sea, and it won every award a book can win. It won the finest printed book in the world that year. It won the best photography of the year at the New York Art Directors Show, best book design. It just all kinds of international awards. And so we created magnificent works, but I didn't know what I shouldn't do. And so
Now, do you think, you know where I'm going with this, right? See, you're already smiling. Both. It's funny how you can know just enough to be a success, but also just enough to be dangerous and can crash and burn. We'll get to that part in a minute. Your first book. I mean, everyone, I want everybody to understand this. You had never done this before.
No.
A stranger came up to you and said, I was led for you to publish this book or be a part of it. And not only did you have to learn how to do that, but out the gate, it was a huge success. I mean, it won 11 awards at the New York Art Directors Show. It was named the most outstanding book of the year by the Printing Industries of America. I mean, these are not small things, right?
You're a big deal.
I think within 4 years that it sold something like 52,000 copies. And this is and just to be clear, this isn't a regular paperback book. At this time, you were selling coffee table books. Right?
Yes.
These are high-end, more high-end, high dollar,
Yes.
What you put out on your coffee table, and people come over and, oh, what's this? And they start thumbing through it, that kind of deal. So for it to be that level of success, what was it like for you when you actually, first of all, what was it like for you when you got the copy of the book? And then secondarily, what was it like for you to have that level of success immediately? I mean, it was the first year.
It was, I want to step back just to where we were laying out the photography with the designer and the photographer on our living room floor. We were living in an apartment. And,
Gotcha.
Can I make one thing clear?
Yes.
Richard and I was not part of Richard's life then.
Yes.
Richard was married to his other business partner,
Yes.
and her name was Cynthia Black.
Yes.
So I want to honor Cynthia with that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that in, because she was part of your life then and
Absolutely.
highly supportive of everything that you were doing.
Absolutely.
Then. Yeah.
So I knew nothing about publishing, but I was sitting there, the designer and the photographer were talking, and I saw all these photos, 4x5 photos sitting on the floor, and I started to arrange them.
Wow.
And I just laid them out. And then the designer looked at them and he said, "What are you doing? And how did you know how to do that?" And, and I said, I don't know how to do whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm just doing this from my heart. I'm doing it intuitively from my soul. And so when we started to work on the book, there were people that came to us that were the best in the industry, whether it was the designer or the topographer or the editor or the printer. They were the top at their game. And what I realized immediately was that publishing was my passion. I had found my purpose in life.
Wow.
And I would have done it even if I didn't get paid. And basically for quite a while I didn't get paid.
I was going to say, we're going to get into that part too. But that must have felt incredible for you.
It did. And you said, what did you feel like when you saw that book? It was like the birth, not exactly like the birth of a child. However, it was when you're on press, sitting there watching the sheets come off, and you're at the bindery watching them bind the book, and then they put a book jacket on it, and you actually have a final finished book. And we did even a limited edition, a hand-bound, leather-bound, handmade paper, and you're dipping the screen into the vat of the pulp to create this paper, and you're laying it on felt, and you're pouring white paper onto it to make it look like the ocean. And there were so many steps, but so many people who had a hand in it. And I think there was a divine element as well, because a year before I had asked for God to work through me for the benefit of mankind. And I didn't realize that when you ask for something like that and you get an answer that says, okay, so be it, you're accepting a responsibility to be in service. And so on that level, I've operated ever since.
Wow. And I read somewhere that, and we'll get into some of the other years in a minute, but I just want to put an end cap on this. I had read somewhere that this book, and I think in the process that you were talking about, where it was leather bound and that kind of thing, was actually a gift from the Japanese prime minister to the president of the United States. Or was it the other way? President to the Japanese prime minister.
It was the 60th anniversary of the Emperor of Japan's reign. And his 80th birthday.
Okay.
And President Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan were in Tokyo, sitting at a little table, maybe 3 feet wide, with the emperor and his wife across from them. And President Reagan wrote in the book, "May the seas between us never divide us." And he handed this limited edition to the emperor. And as it turned out, the emperor was actually an amateur marine biologist. So it was a gift to him that kept on giving, because it was a magnificent creation, but it was over 10 years in the making to have that level of photography and that level of exposure of different species that were in the book.
So the culmination of all these different things meeting in this point.
Yes.
In this moment, in that moment, because you could have chosen, I mean, free will is something that all of us have. You could have chosen to say, no, I'm going to pass on that. I'm going to go back to selling these I mean, it's true. I mean, we laugh at it, but it's true. It's very true, right? Now, you had this huge success, and then shortly thereafter, Things weren't going so well for
No.
Beyond Words for a while. Again, I do my homework. By 1988, the company failed to return a profit after putting out 12 titles. How did you stay focused? I mean, you have your passion, you know what your purpose is, right?
Yes.
And you have to keep going every single, right? How did you stay focused in the midst of this challenge that's in your life, this quote unquote obstacle?
In the center of my being, there was a message that failure is not an option. And the other message that was inside me was that in the course of publishing these books from 1983 to that point, we had created enough debt that I couldn't get out of business. So I
have no choice. I must keep forward.
Integrity was something that was key to me, and to pay everybody back. So if you couple that with every day you get letters, come to you, and you get phone calls from people you owe money to, and I learned early on with that to answer them, to listen to them, and to tell them the truth, and to pay $1 or $10 or whatever I could afford, and at night to go to bed and to pray and hope that something would come that would help us to pay everybody back.
And we'll talk about values later, but I don't find it interesting. I just find that it's important that at the pinnacle of the corporate value for Beyond Words is integrity.
Yes.
That served you well, because not after you made it through that, you were led to start moving into New Age philosophy.
Yes.
And theme. How did you come to the choice? Because before then, you were still in the realm of coffee table books. I mean, and you were selling. You had some successes, but they weren't enough. But you had some successes. How did that come? Did you just connect with yourself and say, "Well, shoot, this is what I believe. Let me move into this"? How did that all come about?
In 1982, in September of 82, I went to, or during the latter part of the summer of 82, I went to a workshop called Money and You, and then a workshop that was called the Birkeland Business School. And it was a 30-day intensive school from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, with teachers like Buckminster Fuller, who challenged us at every level. And at the end of those 30 days, and during the course of those 30 days, there was an exercise that we did as small little breakout groups. And in that exercise, I experienced stepping outside my body, and I was looking down at myself. I was watching myself function in this group, but I was not. I was above that. I was somewhere else, and I realized that there was more to life than what I was seeing, and I realized there was more to me than what I thought. So after that, I started reading a lot of books on metaphysical subjects. I went to different lectures. I actually met a number of authors, and I took a workshop with Dr. John Gray, the Men Are From Mars author, and a brilliant man. And we wound up publishing his first book as a result. But with each thing I did, my philosophy was I never learn less. I'm always learning something, and even to this day, as a publisher, if you ask me, what does a publisher do? I could probably enumerate a number of things, but I'm learning all the time.
I resemble that remark. Michelle, I want to turn to you because as John was talking, I'm always reminded when I hear the stories of couples, and one important aspect of that story is what was going on in lives before you, right? And consistently, there's some sort of parallel. Maybe not the exact same story, there's a parallel there. So can you tell me what was going on in your world prior or even around this time, like before you came into Beyond Words, and the triumphs and the challenges that were going on?
Yeah, I go back to when Richard starts his story at 1983. It's funny, Richard and I didn't even know each other, but we only lived about 8 miles apart from each other in Hillsboro, Oregon, out in the country. So I thought that was kind of a synchronicity that we lived that close, but we never met each other.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. I lived on a little farm. He lived on a farm, but we were about 8 miles away from each other.
If everybody who doesn't understand this, that's not far when you're in the rural. I mean, my family on a farm in Kentucky, and that 8 miles is like, just go up the road, make a left. I mean, that's, but sorry, go ahead.
And I, on that farm, I had 3 children and a beautiful husband, and we had a beautiful life. Then in 1990, my beautiful life, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay.
My beautiful life came crashing down when my husband died of cancer. And I took care of my husband and my 3 kids. I took care of my husband for a year until I could take care of him no longer. And then I had to put him in a nursing home, and he died 6 months after that. And I was taking care of my kids. And as I was taking care of my husband, I was learning all these ways to take care of cancer patients. I could give a shot. I could do this. I could wash people. I was kind of a nurse. I was a nurse, but I didn't have the formal training. So after my husband passed away, I became, I went into cleaning houses because I could clean houses during the day while my kids were in school, and then I could be off at 2:00 when they got home. So God bless Merry Maids. I'm going to put it out there. They hired me. They gave me the freedom to work and to be with my kids after my husband died. Then I saw how much money Merry Maids was making off my work. I went off and started my own company. Then I started making money because I was in it for myself. But what happened
You are a wise woman. Wise.
And I was a lot skinnier too, because I was cleaning like 2 houses a day. Then what happened was I was with these really nice people. They were older. As I was cleaning their houses, they started to confide in me, and they'd ask me to be with them more. And then I started becoming like a personal assistant for them. And then as they got older, I started becoming a caregiver for them. I mean, I was with one person 17 years, taking care of her, Betty, which in all that time, I saw things as I was taking care of people and they were beginning to transition. Things would happen around their homes, like pictures would become askew. Right before someone would die, mysterious things would start happening in the house. And one day, this is what really led me on my journey, was I was taking care of someone who was beginning to transition, and the phone rang. The phone that never ever rang in 7 years rang. And I picked up the phone, and there was static, and there was a voice, and it was a very sad voice. And I said, "Are you okay?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Who is this?" And he goes, "It's Stephen." And I'm like, "Who's Stephen? Who's Stephen?" And then all of a sudden, click, the line goes dead. I sat there for a moment, and I realized the phone that had never rang, and it was her husband calling me from the other side while she was in her transitioning. I got off the phone, and I walked to the window, and I said, there's more to life. There's more to life than what I know. And that's what started me on my journey. So then as a caregiver, my friend said, there's a bookstore, a book publishing company where they sell metaphysical spiritual books, 80% off. And I'm like, I'm always in for a bargain or a deal. So I go there with my friends.
I'm loving this story, by the way. This is wonderful.
And I go into the warehouse where it's filled with books. And there's this man standing there. And he sees us. We were all very pretty girls too, I must say.
Of course.
And 3 pretty caregivers come in looking to buy books. So he was like, yes, I've got the wind up of that meeting was I found out that Richard's mother was 89 years old and needed help. But she wasn't ready to accept help yet.
Right.
So I filed that away in my future job file here. And I bought an armload of books, and I paid for them, and I took them home. A month later, I came back to Beyond Words, and I said, how's your mom doing? She still needs help, but she doesn't want anybody taking care of her. I bought another armload of books. This went on for about 8 or 9 months. And I'd come back once a month, and I would buy an armload of books, take them home, and read them. So that I was educating myself, just like Richard said, he started reading. That's when I began meditation. So after about 8 months, I had read every book that Beyond Words had published so far. And
she was the only person.
I'm the only person that's ever read all the books from Beyond.
And what year was this?
This was back, gosh, I started working
2002, maybe.
I think maybe 2001 we met. Yeah.
Wow.
And then 2002, I went in, and there were no more books to buy. I was like, how's your mom doing? He goes, she really needs your help. And that started in 2002. I started a journey with Richard's mother, and I was her caregiver for 3 years. And we were actually with her the day she died, the day she passed.
Wow.
So I mean, I have more. I don't know how much more of this story you want to hear, but that's how we met initially, was when in the Beyond Words warehouse. I was a customer, and he saw someone with cash.
And after my mother passed, Michelle came to the office one day
to check on
to check on how I was doing.
Yeah.
And my late business partner said to Michelle, what are you doing? And she said, well, I'm looking for work. I'm looking for another client to help. And she said, well, why don't you come work here? And Michelle said, well, I don't work in an office. And she said, well, and Michelle said, I take care of people.
I take care of people. That's what I do.
And Cynthia said to Michelle, well, why don't you come take care of our customers? We have 5,000 of them. And so
I was just like, I get to take care of 5,000 people. Oh my God, it's a dream come true. So she said, call Richard. And I called Richard, and I said, hi, Richard, it's Michelle. And, Cindy said, see if there's any work at Beyond Words. When he goes, why don't you start tomorrow? I said, tomorrow? And I started at Beyond Words the next day after that.
Wow.
And Beyond Words was so gracious. I still had people that I was taking care of. And I told them that I would not leave them until they transitioned. And so about the first year, I worked part-time. So I'd go to Beyond Words, then I'd go take care of my people, then I'd come back to Beyond Words. And then after everyone passed, then I became a full-time employee in sales. I was the salesperson.
You did so much more. I get it. You had to put you somewhere, but I get it.
The salesperson.
Well, listen, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to pick up where we left off here. And what I'd like to do is make this turn into, Beyond Words making this huge leap into the stratosphere of success with a little book called The Secret. I think you guys know about it. So we're going to take a minute and we'll be right back with more With the Cones.
Some people have a posture in which the shoulders round. Some people have a belly that came from long hours working in a computer, driving, grabbing your baby. The posture changes with your lifestyle. So we have to reprogram our posture in order to have a better lifestyle. So what is important here to know? Our core, the house of our body, with the roof here, the diaphragm, with the pelvic floor that is the ground, and the whole core muscles are the walls of the house, have to work properly in order to have a good posture and a good movement.
Watch Body Fit with Alexa Marine every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. right here on Soulivity TV. Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime. All right, we are back with Richard and Michelle Cohn, and gosh, your stories together. We were just talking again. We were just talking offline. We're always talking. Old friends, about how your two stories were running parallel, and there were some threads that were there, but then this full connection came in. Michelle, once you were going to the bookstore, buying up all their books, reading everything, which, I mean, you would make the perfect person to do what you were going to do, which was take care of the customers. Mm-hmm. And Richard, at this time too, Beyond Books was on this ever increasing path of success. Let's fast forward to when, Michelle, you became the creative director. Was it creative director first, or was it marketing director, or was there an intermediary in between?
What happened was I was the salesperson and doing a great job, I must say.
Of course.
And I kept getting I'd call stores and they go, have you heard about this movie it's called The Secret? Do you know anything about it? No. But then I would tell Richard, I said, people are asking about this film, and we'd never heard about it before. So then the story comes in where Rhonda Byrne actually contacted Beyond Words. Do you want to tell that part of it? So now I'm still the salesperson, but then Rhonda calls.
So what happened was that in the movie The Secret, there is a woman named Marie Diamond. Mm-hmm. And my late business partner and I had hired Marie Diamond. We didn't know that she was in the film. We'd hired Marie Diamond to feng shui our house. And so she
I love it.
And then as she left, she gave us a gift of The Secret DVD. And we watched it that night, and we both looked at each other and said, if this is not a book, it needs to be a book. And so the next morning I called Marie Diamond and I said, do you by any chance have a phone number for Rhonda Byrne, who produced the film? And she said, well, I have a cell phone for her, but she's from Australia, so I don't know if you'll be able to reach her. So as soon as I got the number, I called.
Right.
Rhonda Byrne was in Santa Monica that day, and I said to her I'd watched the film and I wanted to talk to her about the possibility of doing a book if there wasn't one. And she said, I've been waiting for your call. And I said, well, how are you waiting for my call? You don't know me. She said, I do know you. I've been approached by several New York publishers. I knew they weren't right. I know you are right. Can you fly down to Santa Monica tomorrow and let's talk? So
what year was this now?
This was in 2006. This would have been approximately, I'm going to say maybe like the end of April or the first few days of May. And we flew down. We met Rhonda for lunch. We talked for about an hour, and we shook hands. Rhonda said, I'll deliver you the manuscript in 30 days.
And she did.
And she did.
And she did it.
Wow.
She wrote a book in 30 days.
And simultaneous with that was that we were becoming a partner with Simon & Schuster. And our partnership with Simon & Schuster happened effective July 1st of 2006. And the first book we brought to them in our partnership was The Secret.
So I just want to hit a pause button because I definitely want to get into, Michelle, your involvement in this. We're kind of talking about this offline. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that everyone out there takes in everything that both of you have just said in terms of all these pieces moving in synchronicity.
It's puzzle pieces, just puzzle pieces. Yeah.
All the two of you knew was the purpose of what you wanted to do with Beyond Words and the energy that embodied that.
Absolutely.
And these other pieces out there, which includes companies and people and all that, moved and shifted because themselves, those entities, moved in alignment with where you were as well as where they were, and you guys came together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is not like, oh, well, this is just happenstance. It's like, no, everybody was in alignment with each other, and that you can't control all that. All you can control is your energy. Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So Michelle, we talked about this offline because, as I said before, I do my homework. And as I read interviews and stories and all this kind of stuff about The Secret, your name comes up, but the story with your name never comes forth. I know there's a story there. Would you tell us that story?
Sure.
All right.
So after Rhonda called and the book deal was made, we were invited to go to a film festival for the movie. Mm-hmm. That was in Squaw Valley.
In Squaw Valley.
Squaw Valley.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cindy and Richard and I went to that premiere of The Secret in Squaw Valley. And on the way back, I was sick because I had a chauffeur's license. I was driving the car back to the airport. But the person we had in the back of the car was Bob Ranone. And Bob Ranone was
he was the CEO of Rhonda's company.
Oh, okay.
And so as I'm driving, we're making, we're talking about The Secret, we're talking about everything. And all of a sudden, it was just decided as we're driving that Beyond Words would be the distributor of the film. the
Mm.
exclusive distributor of the film The Secret.
Wow.
So we're driving and we get to the airport, and then all of a sudden we needed a marketing director, and Beyond Words didn't have one. So Richard goes, "You're the marketing director now." So I became the marketing director, and that's when it started. We started the buzz about the film. I'd call bookstores, because then everything was telephone.
Oh
There was
yeah.
emailing then. Have you heard about this movie? Have you heard about this movie? Have you heard about this movie? And I remember one day somebody wanted to purchase some movies, and I said, we weren't distributing then. We didn't have anything in stock. And I came back to Richard and I said, Richard, I have people that want to order the film. Can we order some of the movies so we can sell them? He goes, sure. I said, well, how many can we order? He goes, how about 50? I said, 50? 50? I go back to my desk, and like 5 minutes later, I'm back. Richard, I sold them all already. I said, we need to order more. How many can we order? He goes, well, why don't you try 50 more? And I'm just like, oh my God. So as the week progressed, it went from Richard letting me order 50 to letting me order 100 because he was conservative. Then it was 200. Then it was 500. And then Beyond Words was granted worldwide distributorship of that for books and mortar stores. And I was the person in charge of getting those books to the bookstores all around the world. So then it was 10,000 films. Then it was 50,000 films. Then it was, Michelle, I'll do anything if you get me those movies. And I can just remember Richard was the owner of the company, but every phone call was for me.
Yeah.
They wanted to talk to me because I was the one who could say if they could get the movie or they couldn't get the movie. And they had to prove that they were brick and mortar stores,
Right.
and that they were going to sell. So there were a lot of people who just wanted to sell it, but they weren't brick and mortar stores. So I had to invest.
They wanted to take it and just resell it out themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we were running checks on companies. I mean, like profiles on companies to make sure they were telling
real.
They were real or whatever. And so then this is just going on from April, the movie, and the sales are just like, I'd be calling up The Secret and going, I need 50,000 movies. I need them today. Or I need 100,000 movies. I need them today. And then the phone calls, and I'm telling you, it was like pandemonium, wasn't it? It was. Beyond Words was just, now I look back after all these years. It was like that avalanche. It started like with a little pea of a piece of snow, and then it just started growing and growing and growing. And as it grew and people were buying product, we had to keep up with all the credit card charges and all the sales of it. So Richard and I'd get up at 4 and I'd be at the office at 5. And then we would leave the office at 9 or 10 every night. And this was about 7 months worth?
Yes.
Together we did it. I'd wake up at 5, get to the office, be there till 9 or 10 at night, go home, sleep, come back, because we were figuring out sales,
right.
How much money was coming in, how much product was going out. Right. And we worked side by side together for that time.
Wow. See, I knew there was a story. I knew there was one. And Richard's like, yeah, making you the marketing director was the best decision I ever made.
I will tell you something that I don't tell most people.
Okay.
And now I'm telling everybody.
Okay.
There was a day, and I knew it, but Richard didn't know it, that I knew I had come to Beyond Words for a reason. Because I always know everything happens for a reason, everything. And the reason that I landed at Beyond Words was I was there to help Richard. I was sent to help Richard. And one day I went into Richard's office and I told him that. I said, Richard, I need to tell you something. And he's like, you know, he used to do two phones on his ears like this at the same time he's talking to people, and he put down the phones. And I said, Richard, I've been sent here to help you. And he just looked at me like, what are you talking about? And I literally fell on my knees and I looked at him and I said, I have been sent here to help you. You only. I have been sent here to help you. And do you remember that day?
I do remember that day.
Yeah. And I don't know how he took it, but it was something that I had to tell him, that I had been sent to help him.
Wow. Wow.
I have said to Michelle that if God sends angels to earth, they have to let go of their wings and they have to forget that they were angels. But it's still, for some people, it's easy to recognize an angel unawares. And I think at first when Michelle said that to me, I was kind of in shock. And then as I thought about it, I recognized that I had been blessed here. This was someone who was unlike she wasn't just an employee or just any person. This was a very special, very unique, caring, loving human being that was here for a grander purpose than what anyone would have thought.
Wow. Well, it's obvious. It's obvious. And I see the two of you together. You know, I know we're running short on time. I want to keep this thread kind of going, because I'm thinking, as I think about this, you guys have worked together for a while now.
We're together 24/7. I call it year after year after year after year.
And I know, just like with my folks who are, you know, work together, they have a practice together, not like, oh, well, you see your people, you know, they're like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you make it work? What are some of the things that you guys do for the two of you to keep you grounded in the depth of your relationship?
I think one of the keys for me with Michelle is that I listen to her. That there are times for all of us as human beings when we either are ecstatic or we're sad or we're under stress or we have anxiety, or that we, as humans, we go through all these levels of emotion. And the other thing is, I don't try to fix her. Because I've, you know, as a man, the moment somebody says a problem to us, we have a solution. And so at first I would say, oh, you've got this going on, no problem. Right. Just this and this and that. Well, that's not what she wanted to hear. She wanted somebody to have compassion, somebody who cared, somebody who loved her, right, who would listen. So now I don't try to fix anything. Right. When it comes to Michelle.
It's a little known secret. Men try to hide it, but we need some of that too. We try to hide it like we're okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a whole nother show, right?
Absolutely.
Michelle, what about you? What are some of the things that you feel that you guys do that keeps, you know, this? I mean, because I feel the intimacy between you two, right? And I love my mother and father's definition. It's like, into you I see, you know, intimacy, into you I see, right? So I see you in me and you see me in you, you know, kind of like Avatar, you know, I see you, that beautiful, I see that between the two of you. What are some of the things that you feel that you feel like on a consistent?
First of all, Richard and I are both Tauruses. We have the sign, and we are very much alike And so when he says something or he does something or he's stubborn or he sees something beautiful, I have those same traits in myself, and I can recognize those traits in him that I have in myself. And so I can either fight with those traits or I can accept them, because he is basically acting like me, because we're very much alike.
Right.
So I can either choose to fight with myself or just get along. You know, I can fight with Richard and be stubborn, or I can embrace the fact that Richard and I, like I said before, I was here to help Richard. And I came here to help Richard. And Richard had a publishing company. But in the years that have followed, I realized the reason I ended up at the publishing company is my agenda is to get the word, the spiritual messages that Beyond Words books have out to the millions and billions of people on this planet. And looking back, who better than a publisher to help you in that work? So together, I think we complement each other, and we work. I like working. I've been working since I was 12 years old. I work. That's what I like to do. And Richard likes to work too. Yeah. He likes to work more than me. I mean, I can't even keep up with him. We both like to work, and we both have the passion, and we both have the same interests. And so it's just so complimentary, and it's fun. It's fun. I mean, there's hard times, trust me, where right. Things happen, but we're able to sit down and not fight about it. We can sit down and talk about it and find solutions. So he's a great partner, and he's a great business partner as well. And we just really get along.
And you guys recognize that in each other, and you give each other what you need in the way that you need it, right? Way that the other person needs it. They can hear it, and they can, we were talking about earlier about that family means a lot to both of you. And I read you got some grandbabies out there. And I said I could not do this show unless I let you guys say hello to the grandbabies. So what are their names?
You did it. There's 6.
So to David, Charlie, Aaron, Willow, Noah, and Gabriel. Hello from Grandpa Richard
and Grandma Shell. And then we have Benjamin, and we have Reza, and we have Jackson, and we have Maury, and then we have a little foster grandchild. He's not adopted yet, but he's my baby, and his name's Little Jackson. And then we just found out that we're going to be grandparents again.
Oh!
We're going to have a little girl. This is number 11, and her name is going to be Piper James.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to meet you, Piper James. Welcome to the party. You're coming to a swell shindig. This is a good, hey, I'm trying to figure out how I can get in there. And, no disrespect, Mom and Dad. This is just a different party. Listen, while we have time, everybody, listen. This conversation, we're calling our company's extended family. We're a distant cousin from Beyond Words. We started a phenomenal collaboration, as I said earlier, where we're supporting each other in reaching more people and doing more inspirational things. One of the things that we're doing is we're doing giveaways. So we're giving away things like Paul O'Brien's I cards. We're giving away, this past Saturday, I had a great conversation with this beautiful lady, Madison Taylor, and her book, Unmedicated. So we're giving away books and things like that. So what you want to do is you want to go and sign up for our book club. and you can just go to our Facebook. You can do a search for Soulivity Magazine Book Club. It's with Beyond Words, Inspiration Central. And we're going to be giving information about how you can win a giveaway and who the winners are, and a lot more cool things like videos like this with my new friends from the West Coast. So you want to sign up and watch this space. Also want to remind everybody that coming up this Saturday is a Soulivity reunion of sorts, and I know you guys are going to love this too. Hosts from our current roster we're going to be doing a round robin talk about everything that we want to have on our mind. So it's no holds barred. It's like the WWF, but for inspiration. And we're going to talk. It's going to be at 10 a.m. on August 1st with D'Angelo Thompson, Francesca Maxime, and Candace Harper, who actually is going to be coming up. Her show is coming up tonight at 7 p.m. Want to see that? Ask for Candy at 7 p.m. right here on Soulivity TV. So, Richard and Michelle, wow. Time is too short. I wish we could talk more. Would you come back? Can we do another one of these?
Would love that.
We would love to.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Thank you. It was really fun.
No, it's my pleasure, and the collaboration is going great as we talked. We talked about this offline before, and so much more to do. And everybody, this is what it's all about. Inspiring, all of you, and as you get inspired, we get inspired to do more. It's about service. It's about passion. We talked about, one of the corporate values for Beyond Words, and I think we share this, in that living your passion is vital. Not something that you can try to put it off, but it's always going to be there in the background. It will not be self-fulfilled until you start living your passion. So listen, on behalf of myself, Richard, and Michelle, thank you for joining us. And as always, I'm wishing you great passion, great, living your purpose, and a fantastic life, living your best life today. Thank you, and hey, I'll catch you on Saturday, everybody.
Thank you.
Soulivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on All right, we're gone. TV. We're out. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Soulivity Magazine shows by going to soulivity.com.